Well, that's all you really need to know. In life, should I stay or should I go? It's Friday, January 19th, 2018. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I am Ron Bennington. We are looking at NFC Championship weekend. 4 quarterbacks, 3 that will definitely not go to the Hall of Fame. And 3 that may not even be starting next year. And I'm not making that up. You look at the NFC game, and neither one of those guys will be starting next year. And I even think they could win the Super Bowl and not end up starting next year. It's a really crazy year, and this, after, of course, the first time the NFL's looked at these kind of people, staying away from the stadiums, ratings going down, because of a bunch of reasons, including going to battle with the President of the United States about kneeling. For me, how do you not watch the games? They're petrified that it could be a Jacksonville, Minnesota Super Bowl because those are 2 small markets without famous players.
Right. And there's no kind of storyline.
Oh, there's great storylines with all the underdogs.
Destiny. That's true.
Yeah, and Jacksonville is the team that was going to leave Jacksonville and go to England. That certainly is a great storyline. But they worry about small markets. But I'm always like, who doesn't watch playoff NFL? You watch it even if you're not a football fan. Is there anyone out there, 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD, who doesn't plan to watch these games on Sunday? What has happened to this country that we sit around and wonder whether people... I don't care how small the market is. What do you wouldn't watch Jacksonville, Minnesota? It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but isn't that more exciting to see teams that you don't normally see in the Super Bowl? If you're a football fan.
People say that. People say, oh, I would like to see something different. No, they would love to see the Patriots and Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
That's what they would love to see. You know what I mean? They can say whatever they want, but people want big stars and big star teams. And that's why there was a lot of depression last week when Pittsburgh lost, because the Pittsburgh New England game would have been the marquee game. It's all anybody would have been talking about this week. And now you turn on ESPN and they're like, I don't see any way that Philly or Minnesota could win this week. They don't have quarterbacks. Not only is Minnesota the team of destiny, as far as being the first home team to win, but their quarterback not even drafted. Only once in life, only once in the history of the planet Earth has the undrafted quarterback won a Super Bowl. Chris Stanley, I see you looking confused, but you're the football guy for the show.
I don't know who was the other undrafted.
How the hell did he get to be the football guy for the show? Vito, I'm going to look over at you. Do you have an answer?
No.
No. Guess what? I'm canceling both you guys.
No, don't.
844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. Here's Harley in Georgia. Harley in Georgia, what's up?
Yeah, I was listening to the show, and I just want to put my 2 cents in that no matter who plays Super Bowl, since I was a kid, cold beer with the dad, some wings, watching the game, no matter who. It just didn't matter. It's just a ritual. Good times.
It's like saying, I'm not doing New Year's Eve this year. Or, you know what I mean? I'm not doing Christmas this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Even as someone who, it's not like I'm a major football fan, as in I watch every NFL game, and I have missed one Super Bowl in my life, and it was because I was forced to work during a Super Bowl, and I felt really weird, and I was texting my friends and family like, what's going on?
Isn't that weird?
And I felt so weird. It felt very strange.
I've had that happen before too, and I'm just like, well, can we have a TV and put on the game? And they're like, this is work. I'm going, I know. It's going to be work with the TV. I feel like a maniac right now.
And it really did feel like I missed a holiday that year. It was a very strange feeling.
It is a holiday, and I understand that we're all mad at each other in this country. We might shut down the government today. But sports, movies, art, these are things that are supposed to pull us together, not divide us. Let's go over here to Paul. Paul, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, I think the quarterback is Jim Plunkett, right?
Jim Plunkett won the Heisman Trophy. Of course it's not Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett was an incredibly big high draft. You know so little about football that you should become the football guy for the Bennington show and sit next to this guy who loses people money. Chris Stanley loses people money because there are people that are willing to pay attention to him because he's a magnetic, exciting guy who French inhales him. Barry in Delaware. Barry, what's up?
Ronnie, how you doing? Just the quarterback. Was it Kurt Warner? Is that who it was?
It was indeed Kurt Warner.
Oh, nice.
It was indeed Kurt Warner. You're going to the pretty good prize closet. And we will be docking Chris Stanley's pay this week.
Did he play the Canadian League or indoor arena or something?
No, he was like over in Europe or whatever crazy shit he was doing. He was out of his mind for a while. Barry, you're in Delaware. Does that make you a Ravens fan or an Eagles fan?
No, I'm up there in Middletown right now, Ronnie. I'm a truck driver. I'm out of South Jersey, actually. That's where I live, in South Jersey, near the stadiums, all that on the Jersey side.
Sure. So you're all Eagle, right?
No, actually, I'm a Cowboys fan.
See, this is what happens. You know what? I'm revoking your prize. I'm revoking your prize for not picking the team that you live near. Matt. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Hey, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to miss the Super Bowl this year because I have to go see Wicked with my wife and daughter.
Now, where are you going to see that at?
That's going to be in the city, in New York.
All right, let me explain something to you. I'm not against people being gender fluid. I understand that's the progressive way to go. And I think Wicked is a lovely way for your wife and daughter to spend that Sunday, which should totally open it up for you to enjoy the Super Bowl, Matt. The fact that you're backing out of this, madness to me. Madness. I don't understand how people are saying I'm too mad to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like a staple. It really does feel like a holiday. I'm surprised that anyone has even kept up, early on with the kneeling. I know there were people who came forward and said, I'm done with the NFL. I'm curious if any of them really.
Oh, yeah.
You think the majority of them stuck it out?
I think so, because all you got to do is look at the stadiums and look at some of the things. Now, there's a lot going on with professional sports that is annoying people, and a lot of it has to do with cost and, just an overabundance of it. And I get all that. But we're talking about the goddamn Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. And who cares if it's Jacksonville and Minnesota? It's the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl. How could we be concerned? And they've lined it up for so people who don't even like the Super Bowl can enjoy the Super Bowl. There's a big, ridiculous show. It seems like Justin Timberlake's going to be bringing Sexy back. And he said he would kneel and burn a flag. That's the kind of shit people are going to want to watch.
I also think that, if for people who are worried about small market teams, as somebody who has only ever backed teams that the majority of the time has not been in the Super Bowl, I find that to be strange.
Well, that's most of us.
I 99% of the time have never had a horse in the race during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's that would be most Americans, you know? That would be most Americans. I just think that you want to see who's the champion. That's it.
Right. But I mean, there are people who are like, I don't even care who wins the Super Bowl. Yeah, but you still watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really the point.
Steven in Texas. What's up, buddy?
Hey, so I was wondering, Ronnie, about Roger Staubach. You know, he went to the Naval Academy and then went into the Navy for a few years. Was he drafted when he came out, or did he?
Yeah, I think he was drafted, and the Cowboys hung on to that.
Oh, so he was drafted out of college.
Yeah, he was drafted out of college, and then the Cowboys held that for his 4 years that he was in the Navy. I mean, when you think of it now, could anyone even do that? Could they go from college, have 4 years in the Navy, and then come back and be a starter? It's a tough thing to pull off. I mean,
yeah, that would be crazy. There was another guy that played after the military also, and I can't remember his name, but it's incredibly rare. Yeah.
Well, Rocky Blyer was in Vietnam and was wounded in the leg, and then went to Pittsburgh and played for those Super Bowl teams as a running back. There's movies made out of this, Chris. I don't know what to tell you. You're supposed to be the football guy, and you don't know the Rocky Blyer story?
I don't know the Rocky Blyer story.
You're familiar. I'm going to ask you a question right now.
Okay.
On the field, how many guys on each side? Because it seems like for being the go-to guy, he doesn't know anything about Kurt Warner. He doesn't know anything about Rocky Blyer. He said to me the other day, he goes, wait, Jacksonville has a team?
Oh, no,
and
Chris.
I go, yeah. And he goes, is that the only team in Kentucky? I go, Chris, Jacksonville is in Florida.
I was confused.
He goes, oh, I thought that's where Miami was. I go, you can have more than one city in a state.
It's preposterous.
I see how it's confusing with New York.
Can I tell you something else? Right after he said that, he leaned over, pulled some gum up off the street and started showing it.
Ew! This says everything.
Gail was standing with me when this happened before the show today. We met outside, as we like to do in our little area. There was a fucking stew bum, a pathetic stew bum, walking down the street, grizzle, weird Chris Stanley type sunglasses, and one of those stupid Knicks hat that it looks like it came in from Mongolia. With his tassels are hanging down. I don't know the name of that hat. I don't have a hipster on the show where I would ask, but I remember about 10 years ago that was the look.
Yeah, it's kind of like a beanie, but there's always a puffball and tassels.
So, you know what? I'll just say this. I'll describe this gentleman as this. Poor soul. A poor soul, so we all then can understand what I'm talking about. Stanley, and I swear to the Catholic God, I am not making this up. Stanley goes, was that Donald Fagen over there? He's like, don't stare directly at him. That's Donald Fagen. I go, first of all, the guy was like 6'5".
I mean, not only did it not look like him, but it seemed like someone who was clearly homeless and very down on his luck.
I thought it looked exactly like Donald Fagen. I thought, holy shit, there's Donald Fagen.
Nothing like Donald Fagen. Donald Fagen is a short Jewish jazz hipster. I don't know what the hell we're talking about. Rich in Philly.
Hey guys, I'm calling because I want to defend the Super Bowl. When R.P. McMurphy fought for the right to see the goddamn Super Bowl in the insane asylum, that's as American as it gets.
Rich, he fought to see the World Series, not the Super Bowl. So you fucked up on two things. Three, actually. Baseball, football, and perhaps America's greatest novel. And then later made into a motion picture starring the great Jack Nicholson.
And then also a Broadway play.
Well, you know what? It was a Broadway play even before it was
pretty good prize closet?
No. Matter of fact, we're going to come to your house in Philly and take something out of your closet. Maybe an old raincoat that you're not using anymore. You know, maybe some old golf clubs. Rich, you nervous about the game on Sunday?
No, not at all. We weren't supposed to get this far. It's okay. I'll take a loss. You know, Carson's going to be there again.
Can I tell you something, dude? That's what I call chill. That's what I call chill. And the whole idea of getting there again, no guarantees.
Yeah.
Dan Marino got there once. Aaron Rodgers, probably the best quarterback in the game. He's got one ring. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's a rare feat, and sometimes you forget that when there's a team like the Patriots who have been the best team for 2 fucking decades.
Well, last week, in my house, we were discussing, hey, I would like to just make a show of it. I'd like to not lose the first game. It would be great. Now this one, you're like, it'd be really great if we could win it. I know it's crazy. And then we're like, we don't have to win the Super Bowl. We're not crazy. We got Foles in there. I mean, we're not nuts. It would just be, wouldn't that be cool?
But they got their own Foles over there, too.
Yeah.
But they match up better. I told you all season, watch out for Minnesota. You know what I mean? And when we had Wentz and everybody was like, this is the best team in the NFC, I'm like, I don't know. There's one team. So I literally thought, oh shit, at the end of that game. And then, of course, Big J and all, Mike Vecchio and the text, this works out great for us. I go, I don't know what that's based upon. Maybe your own insanity. I don't know. I actually said, anybody that feels good about that when your team is in it is wrong. Daryl in Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl by choice. I am a Gulf War veteran. My father is a Vietnam veteran. Both of my grandparents were in France and Normandy on D-Day. I will not ever come back unless every single player that took a knee publicly apologizes for their asshole behavior.
Now, Daryl, were you a sports fan before that?
Absolutely. 50 years I've been a Detroit Lions fan. I bought Sirius XM radio for the NFL Network. I bought DirecTV just for the NFL Sunday ticket. I spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on the NFL stuff. I've burnt it. It's gone. I will never come back unless every single one of them, yes, that means Aaron Rodgers. Yes, that means Drew Brees. They all have to come back and say, hey, you know what? We messed up. I'm sorry. Please accept our apology. If they don't do that, I won't be back until every single one of the knee takers is no longer in the NFL.
Well, that'll only be a few years anyway. I mean, they don't stay in the NFL long.
Well, there's rookies in here too.
Okay, so there's some rookies, like a rookie QB. Any of those guys. And so you're looking probably minimum 15 years before you even. Yeah. And you're sticking with it.
Absolutely. I'm done. It's over. I mean, the only way they publicly apologize to all of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, I realize it's their First Amendment right, okay, for freedom of speech, and I fought for that. But there's things you can say that you shouldn't say, okay? I mean, I don't run around saying the N-word. There's things you just don't do.
Right.
You don't call out fire in a crowded theater. There's just things that aren't appropriate, and this is very inappropriate. And they continue to do it, knowing that it's made people like me as upset as I am about it. And they continue to do it.
So you've dug your heels in. This is it.
I'm done. Yeah. Yes,
you are done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for calling us, Daryl. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, peace. Doug, what's up?
Hey, Ron, big shout out to you and your adopted daughter, Gail. I don't know if you guys remember, but back when Reagan was president,
Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Reagan, one of his inaugurations, I think it was the second one, they had to postpone it because the 20th fell on Super Bowl Sunday. So he did a private swearing in the White House and did the public inauguration the next day on Monday.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think you want to go up against the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm just saying, that's written into the Constitution, the January 20th.
Yeah. It is interesting. Now, did you hear the last caller?
He can go vote for Donald Trump again in 2020.
Okay, so you're just saying that his is a political thing. It isn't his, all the stuff that his family did.
He fought in a foreign country for the right to do exactly what these people are doing. He's got, I appreciate that he's upset about it, but what did he go fight for if it wasn't for the right to people to speak their mind?
All right, thank you very much. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. It is championship weekend. Although Vito is a little more excited about the SAG Awards, which is only going to have female presenters. So I think that makes up for everything that we've been through. Just female. Why don't they do this? Just females get awards.
That's great.
And they announce the male awards and then they turn around and give it to another woman.
I think that would be great.
And then
it's a ladies' night.
Yeah. Make the men come up, have a big bowl of fucking shit. They take a spoon and they have to eat it.
Finally, an award show that's entertaining.
Earl, what's up?
Not much. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Villanueva, I believe, plays for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He was in the Army for a few years also.
Yeah. That has happened. We were talking about undrafted quarterbacks that win the Super Bowl. This would be only the second time in the history of the planet Earth. Well, at least as far as we know. A lot of people think that there was a civilization before the dinosaurs. I'll get to the bottom. I'm digging deep to find out. Jerry in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Ronnie, I have a family full of veterans, and we all still watch the NFL. We're in Oklahoma, and we're Dallas Cowboy fans, so we quit watching quite a while ago. But, we're all Democrats, union guys, and it seems to us like this is Trump, one of his many, many distractions, to keep us from anytime something comes up bad, these son of a bitches,
I want to tell you the truth. I think the Trump thing is only part of what's eroding it. I think the concussions are. I think the overabundance of football. But I try to tell people that when I was a little kid, we used to really watch Monday Night Football every week because Howard Cosell would run what happened in all the games at halftime. And we got to see teams that we normally didn't get to see.
Right.
And it was very, very exciting. And I used to watch to see, because Billy White Shoes Johnson was from my town. And if he scored a TD, I knew he would do the stupid dance. And we would see it on Monday Night Football. But seeing somebody from your town on Monday Night Football was like seeing somebody from your town on the moon, So we didn't get enough football. And now, I do miss Thursday night games. I miss a lot of Monday night games. I tend to just to watch my team. And then I know I'm going to be able to catch up very, very easily with Sports Center. And, if I miss anything, it's there minutes later. Let's go over to Mark in Washington. Mark.
Yeah, how you doing? I just wanted to comment. This has nothing to do with Trump whatsoever. This has to do with patriotism. And if you take a knee in front of our national anthem, it's about patriotism. It has nothing to do with Trump voters or Hillary voters or anything else. If you choose to take a knee, which is your right to do so, it's also the Patriots' right to turn you off. So
you're saying New England Patriots or veterans?
No, I'm talking about American patriots.
Okay. And you, the same thing, you were in the military?
I'm a Marine Corps veteran, yeah.
Yeah. And you think that, do you feel like the veterans are getting enough respect for that, or it's kind of forgotten about?
I think, in certain areas, veterans are getting a lot of respect for it.
Yeah.
When you start getting into the bigger cities, people, especially liberals, think, hey, everybody needs to be coddled and all these snowflakes need to have their hand held all the way through. That's just not the case. That's not the way the world works.
So, do you think it's a little snowflakey, though, to not watch the games?
No.
Like, I got my feelings hurt because of somebody else's opinion?
I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice just like it's their choice to take a knee. I respect that choice. It's also my choice to turn off the game. I'm a lifetime football fan.
Well, who's your team?
And
Seattle?
My team's Seattle Seahawks, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was a season ticket holder. I'm not any longer.
All right. Thanks, my man. Best of luck to you.
Uh-huh.
It's the Bennington Show, 844-Rock God, 844-Rock God. I know that the NFL is nervous about smaller market teams, which, of course, has nothing to do with anything. But I don't know whether you've been to Jacksonville before. But you will see welcome to Jacksonville, and then you see trees for a long time. You know what I mean? That, really? Yeah. There is not...
It's a lot of space. Like, it's a
lot of space.
Yeah.
It's the second largest city behind L.A. in terms of space. But when you get to the downtown, and if you're there on a Sunday, the city is pretty much closed. You know, there's beaches and there's suburbs. But it isn't, and they didn't even pick up a lot of Florida fans because the Florida fans had already been divided between two other teams. So they got the Northwest, I guess, is their thing. And quite frankly, that's even more of Gators country. You know, I think all of Florida would say they would pick college football over. So it isn't, you know, it's not a Pittsburgh that, you know, has a long history, is going to be through it. And Minnesota is just one of the smaller cities, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
You watch the Super Bowl. That's what you do. You watch the Super Bowl. Freddie in Seattle. Freddie.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
I just wanted to pipe up real quick and say that while a lot of football fans that will describe themselves as patriots are really upset about people bending a knee, they don't seem to be upset about the 7,000 plus servicemen and women who come back to our country every year and commit suicide because they are unable to get the services that they need from our country and our government. So these people are really upset. Maybe they should change their focus on something that matters instead of being true armchair quarterbacks on Sunday.
Well, I would say this. I would wish that a lot of things would open up communication and instead of just venting anger, you know, back and forth, you know, like the snowflake thing or whatever. Right. But it also doesn't go that way in this country.
What I think is interesting is that the conversation about taking a knee or are you not going to watch the NFL because players have taken a knee has shifted to, are you against this country? Are you disrespectful to the flag? Are you not a patriot? Those things. And we've discussed very little about what the protest was about, which was about the way this country treats black Americans. And what I think is really interesting
I think that was true. I think it was cops. I think the initial thing was cops.
Well, when Kaepernick originally said it, I think the way he had phrased it is, I'm not going to stand for a flag who supports, you know, the treatment that we have seen through police, you know.
Yeah, but just because you bring that up doesn't mean everyone's going to discuss it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. And what I think is most interesting is I might even say that it was not a successful protest because we are not discussing that matter at all. Right. What we're discussing is how, like, are you offended? Are you not offended? Is it a disrespect for this country, or is it your First Amendment right? But we still don't even say what they are speaking about when they do it.
Yeah.
So in that way, I would say it was not a successful protest because we are not talking about what they wanted us to discuss.
Well, the other interesting thing is when Trump got into it, right, the following week, the league had really pulled together, including people like Terry Bradshaw saying that the president crossed blah, blah, blah. But I think that has eroded. But in the meantime, no one is kneeling anymore.
Right.
Like that thing is done. And it's interesting that people say, I don't care whether it's done or not. I'm done with them because it happened. And Colin Kaepernick isn't playing. And part of the reason is there isn't a helmet big enough for the amount of hair that he brings. Bruce and Delco.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly.
On a road to victory.
hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch them Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. T-A-G-L-E-S.
You know, for being such a soulful town, I mean, we have so many ridiculously bad songs that we love. Philadelphia Freedom is a terrible song. When they start to sing, and the Rocky song is the worst moments of my life. And that song is just ridiculous. But I'll be singing along. Maybe I shouldn't watch.
Why?
I don't want to see a loss. Let's go over to Jerry. Jerry, what's up?
Hey, doesn't it just boil down to you really want to be entertained and you don't, why do we have to hear everybody's opinion about everything? Why don't they just do what they're supposed to do? Let us watch the game and enjoy it for what it is.
Well, let me, and I would agree to you, but what about the people who, aren't crazy about wars and military, and they have to sit and watch the flyover and the people and the thing, you know what I mean? Like, the game got politicized, more than any other sport. And there is this connection somehow between the NFL and the military. They're always like, the NFL is like, we're going to war. Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to war. I mean, if you even look, you know, a bomb was one of the big early plays. So, I mean, yeah.
What kind of a guy what kind of an asshole does like a flyover, though? I mean, come on, it's just interesting.
I would agree with you. I like a flyover, and I also was interested to see who knelt, and then how the white guys would do the Red Rover thing, where they would hold arms. That was always, so, I mean, I can watch it either way. It doesn't freak me out either way, but I get that some people can't put up with it. There was a kid that was here with us for a while. He was from Ireland, Mooch, and he couldn't believe that there were advertising for the military. He found it to be unbelievable. In his country, they would never advertise for the military, and he felt like, what is this, Russia? I'm like, dude, I've seen advertising for the military my whole life.
Yeah. I have spoke to people from other countries, and it's like that and the way we advertise drugs. Both of those things, they're like, that is so strange. That would never be allowed in our country.
The First Amendment thing is always interesting because normally, I mean, everyone is always on the First Amendment for their side. It's, you know, without a thing. Florida is trying to come up with something now, and I don't even understand the full facts of what they're trying to do, but it's an anti-pornography thing. And really? I'm like, and the internet, and call it some kind of a mental health crisis. And I'm like, I don't know how you're supposed to stop it now. It's on the fucking internet. You know, it's the internet. But, I mean, if you look, everybody is... Now, there's Donald Trump right now as I'm looking out, and he's at an anti-choice thing today. Now, he's a guy that wasn't anti-choice before he became president, but only after. And, you know, people have been fired up about the choice, no choice thing my entire life. That's one of those events that's never gone away. My entire life, and I don't expect to see it too. Here's Neil. Neil, what's up?
Hey guys, first time caller. I just want to say how much I love your show.
Thanks.
Even Chris, believe it or not.
Oh, thank you.
The reason I'm calling is because regarding the players who took a knee, I don't see why it's such a big deal. I mean, the country is founded on, you know, any great democracy is founded on the right of free expression, right of freedom of choice, and the ability to tolerate dissenting views. So I think it goes beyond just the First Amendment. It goes down to the spirit of the men who drafted the Constitution. And I don't particularly like seeing those guys take the knee, but I don't see why it is such a big deal. They have something they feel very strongly about. They have the pulpit. They have a moment to make their views known, and I don't know why everyone's getting so worked up about it.
And the interesting thing was, now football is, and TV advertising is concerned, they never had to put a close up on those guys. You know what I mean? They did that because it was good television.
Yeah.
And then the following day, all we heard about was the knee stuff. Who took a knee? Who didn't take a knee? There was websites. Here are the players that took a knee this week, because obviously you're not going to see every game. I can't even think outside of Kaepernick of another actual name, but that's where I am just right now. Tom in Oklahoma, what's up?
Hey guys, love the show.
Thanks, buddy.
You're missing a good point here that the NFL is just boring now too. They're too good. That Vikes game, that Saints-Vikes game, there's a game like that 3 or 4 games every week in college football.
You mean with a terrible play to end the game?
Well, just they make mistakes. They're too good in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why anybody would like a less than product. The thing about college football is there's always a couple of elite athletes and a couple of guys that will never play football again, and that's why you see these spectacular plays. I find college football to be embarrassing, and I mean, we just had that thing about those guys in Notre Dame that were suspended or kicked off the team for shoplifting. Why anybody playing for a multi-billion-dollar fucking company who doesn't get paid and has to end up shoplifting? That's behind me. I find that the entire way that the colleges have gotten caught up with this to be a fucking appalling that you could have a $10 million fucking coach and a kid who can't sell his tickets or can't sell his jersey. Ridiculous.
That seems nuts. And risking their health to play a game that they might not have the opportunity to ever make it to the NFL because of a life-altering injury.
Yeah. Happens all the time. But even if you forget about that, this college is bringing in millions and millions of dollars. Notre Dame is filthy rich off of football, so much so they don't even join a league. They don't join a league because they can make more money not being in a league. Why? Tons of Catholics out there, tons of Irish Catholics like myself are like, what do you think of Notre Dame this year? Even though they don't care. And I'll be like, yeah, they do look pretty good. They really do look good. Because you're locked into this thing that you've done since you were a kid. John, what's up, buddy?
Hi, Bennington.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, your phone's fucking up, man. Sorry, bro. Here's Mike in Cleveland. Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Ronnie B?
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick, he sucked and got benched, and that's why he started protesting so he could extend his career another couple weeks. It was never about anything else. Anybody who says otherwise is full of shit.
Thank you, my friend. Here's Christian in Staten Island.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, buddy.
For a long time. Listen, these people that take a knee, they have that right to take that knee because of what we did in war, whatever it took to get us that freedom. They have the right to do so. But it's also their right to pick and choose the time they choose to do that. And doing it during the national anthem is a smack in the face to the men that fought for that right.
Again, I don't know why that you don't see any protests to be an attack on the military, because quite frankly, this event and the national anthem is not a military thing. The flag doesn't belong to the military. This wasn't a military event that they were protesting.
No, it wasn't. But the people that defend that flag and defend our rights as a free country, you could have picked a better moment, because the national anthem is something that represents our freedoms, and how we got those freedoms.
Yeah, but you could also say the same thing about the president or the Senate or anything else in the government. And a lot of people in this country on both sides don't like the government, but that isn't an attack on the veterans. Right. But the other thing to do with the time and the place.
That's not open to the public the way it is on national television with these people that make millions and millions of dollars. And these people go to war. Yeah, that's the way we see it.
Yeah, I've just never seen the connection between the two. But also, when you protest, it only makes sense to protest when it can be somewhat disruptive. It would be crazy to do a protest at an event where everybody already agrees with you.
For his reasons for protesting, nobody ever really got that point across.
I would agree with that.
That time was the wrong time.
Yeah, I would agree with that only because Gail brought this up earlier. We've never really discussed it, but if you are going to believe in protests, and I would say everybody in the country does believe in the right to protest, at what time is it okay to protest?
Right.
6 o'clock in the morning when no one's around. We've seen those protests.
Right.
I walk down the street every day, and there's somebody protesting something that no one gives a shit about.
Right, or when they set up the cages where they're like, here's your free speech zone, is what they used to call it.
Well, guess what? They're looking at cages this week for this Eagles game. The Philadelphia police are nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Because, let's see, how would I describe the fighting city of Philadelphia? Anything could turn bad at any time.
Yes. I mean, first of all, they're all sold out of dog masks, so you're going to see a stadium full of dog mask people who can't be identified.
Who invented that anyway?
I don't know, but I think it's kind of great.
They got Big Fest.
It's huge.
Now, here's the thing, though. In Philadelphia, for the police, a victory might be as much trouble as a defeat. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
There's not
a good outcome.
No.
For sanity.
Other than just calling the game. But I will be watching. I won't put on a dog mask. It's too ridiculous for me. But here's Rick in Maryland. Rick.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, what's up?
I'm listening in, and I've been listening for many months on this topic.
Thanks.
I'm a veteran, and I have a lot of veteran friends. And thus far, I don't know a single person who actually has served in the military that has a problem with it. And I think that all the people who are claiming that it's a slap in our face should shut the fuck up unless they've served.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I don't know. We've gotten calls from people in the military. Also, a lot of cops are pissed about it. And, you know, let's face it, football has always been a right-wing thing, I believe, you know, since the beginning. So I think that took a shock to a lot. They want to feel patriotic at a game. I don't know why we ever need, before a game, to play the anthem, and we don't do it before we start TV shows or movies or, you know what I mean? Like,
we're not
why
playing against a foreign country.
Yeah, if it was the Olympics. By the way, in the Olympics, you don't get to play your song until you win. Your song is not for losers. And then they make the losing country stand next to you, lower than you, and listen to your song.
And stand at attention as though to say, are you then saying you're pledging yourself to our country because we are the winners? I think that's what they should have to do.
I think they should have done that Ice Cube challenge to people if your country loses.
Or at least Tide Pod challenge.
After the Super Bowl, we get into the Winter Olympics. And I saw that there was some color commentators were making the rounds of the sports stations here. That's one time that all the old figure skaters just get to pop out every 4 years. Because suddenly now everyone's like, where's our fucking figure skaters, man? What's happening? What is wrong with our team? You don't pay attention for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just like, imagine if there was just a Super Bowl every 4 years and you had never heard of any of these dudes.
But you feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, you want to win. Hey, Roger in Pennsylvania. Roger, what's up?
Hey, Ron, how you doing? I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I'm getting kind of tired of a lot of callers who are talking this patriotism waving the flag. It's against, to me, it's always been protesters, whether you like it or not. They're as patriotic as anyone else. And I'm really tired of hearing fight for our freedoms. That was World War II. I was in Vietnam. I wasn't fighting for anyone's freedom. And wars since, not fighting for freedom. We get hardline people just get tired of fighting for freedom, waving the flag. How dare you take me using a national anthem? This is America. You can do that without getting kinged up on. You don't like the idea? Don't like the idea. I'm just kind of tired of all these guys calling in and using the flag and the veterans as I think it's baloney.
So you don't think that there was an entire time that you could have said, "Oh, they are fighting for our freedoms since World War II." That was the last time.
Not one time.
Yeah.
And again, I was in Vietnam in '67, a little bit of '68, and
the worst possible time, right?
Well, a little worse after a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was a young dumb kid. I mean, it made sense to me for a few minutes. And me and my friends, we just wanted to go home.
Right.
We knew we weren't fighting for anybody's freedom, and we had no reason being there. And most of my friends who are there, or stay in touch with, feel the same. We kind of laugh about the flag waving. That's fighting for freedoms. That's such an old, tired. It's really kind of moronic, I think, and it's not very smart.
I think the Vietnam War was so interesting, too, because it's the last time that we had a draft. It was the last time that it wasn't just a matter of saying, hey, let's go. You're like, wait, now my nephew is going or my brother is going and that, or my son. That changed a lot, the way people look at the military. And they were smart to get rid of the draft and never bring it back. Because you'd end wars fast if we had a draft.
I think so, too.
Very fast. And I even told my kids afterwards, my friends, too, who were there.
Yeah. I
told my kids during that time, if you get drafted, I'm driving you to Canada. Because I don't want you to die for no reason. I don't want you to die anyway.
The sad thing is Canada doesn't really want us. No one ever brings that up. But it's not easy to get in Canada these days.
You can.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Peace. Hey, Drew, Arkansas. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Like your show, first time caller.
Thanks, man.
So I hear what people saying. I'm a war vet too. I was in Iraq and I got a Purple Heart getting shot up all down my left side. I understand, but the flag means something, right? We wear it over our heart for a reason. Normandy, all that stuff. I'm a big 49ers fan and I love Kaepernick up until he started using the national anthem to protest something that, I get the protest. I get Americans built on freedom of speech and all that, but I mean, Black Lives Matter. He could have done it a different way. Wore an undershirt, pull up his jersey, say Black Lives Matter during the national anthem. But stand up and represent it, I mean, he's using the very thing, this country is built on to protest something that, kind of disrespects it. I mean, I know the national anthem, you can go back, well, this person wrote it, and we have it for this. But, when I went to war for my country, to fight for that flag. The same one that, you see. And, I mean, it represents so many things to so many different people that, we're able to live in this country and, experience the things we do. That I just felt it could have done a better way. I don't blame him from doing it. I just think it could have been done a better and more, classier way.
I appreciate that call so much, Drew. Take care, my friend. Here is Jim in Kentucky. Jim.
Yeah, named Jeremy, but it's all right. I like you guys a lot. I'm not trying to attack anybody or anything like that, but when you say that, how does the military go in lieu with the national anthem and the flag and stuff in those games? If they don't, then why is it always the military out there carrying the flag out, representing the flag all the time?
I will give you an answer to that, dude. A lot of times the military pays for that. And we found that out, that the military has paid millions of dollars to separate teams, to flyouts and stuff like that. And yes, the military is part of the flag and they are part of the national anthem, but so are the rest of the citizens. It's not just a military flag, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand, but there is a link between those two, and that's all I'm trying to say. Like, I am a disabled combat veteran also, and I don't care. People can do what they want to do because that's what I fought for. If I'm not letting them do what they want to do, and I'm upset with them for having their rights and using their rights, then that's very hypocritical of me, and I understand that. But there is a time and a place for things, and I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to go out and bash you for it. You know what I mean? Like, I have my right to not agree with it, too.
Everybody does. I mean, I think that it's a very complicated matter, and it isn't one that the country, whether it's the media or the government, has handled like adults. I think they dig in and pick a side. And, I mean, I honestly believe that veterans should be treated differently than they are when they come back, and yet that's never really happened in the history of any country. Veterans have been screwed over after every war, everywhere. It's just what people do. They want the military when they want them, and then they don't want to see them when it's over.
Exactly.
I
and
appreciate
everybody who ever signed up. Everybody who ever signed up knew that was going to happen because it's been happening since the beginning of time. So if they're complaining about getting mistreated, they're dumb. So
I appreciate you, Jim. Thank you, buddy. Peace.
See you later. Bye.
I would also say, though, that, you know, veterans who had any need to voice that, I wouldn't say that there was an appropriate time or place to voice the way they feel about the way the country treats them. You know what I mean?
Right. They have every right to get out.
Yeah, and they can, and I think that, you know, doing that in whatever place, in whatever way, that they felt that they could make the biggest impact. I would never say there was an inappropriate time to discuss that the veterans need a better treatment.
Jeff in Kansas.
Benningtons, how are we?
Cool, man.
Hey, would people still be pissed off if people were kneeling to fight against baby cancer?
That would be an interesting experiment for someone to say.
It's interesting.
It's just like, I'm doing this for the toddlers. I don't know. We haven't had anybody who's come up with that yet. And look, I think even if you're against it, we all saw that when Trump brought it up, a lot more people did it because they felt that they weren't going to be pushed around. And then after he got quiet, people stopped. There's no one doing this at all anymore.
Yeah.
And really, the funny thing is, when we started this conversation, it was like, how do you not watch the games, even if your team isn't in it, and it's gone to this place? This isn't what started, because like I said, those kneeling and people not watching is only one part of what the NFL has done poorly. They saturated us to where the games don't matter.
But I will say, just as I said, agree or disagree, I think that, one could make the argument that it wasn't a successful protest because of the way the conversation shifted about respecting the flag, respecting the country versus freedom of speech, rather than specifically what they were trying to get across in the beginning. I think that, I think that that's still obviously, a big part of the way the conversation kind of was taken over. You know what I mean? The way that there was like a redirection on here is what is really to be discussed about it.
Yeah, and that is always the problem of free speech. What happens with that speech once you make it? And, any kind of communication has to be judged by the response.
Yeah.
There are people that can say certain things and everybody will laugh, and other people can say the same exact thing and people will be outraged. Dave in Houston. Dave, what's up?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
That's our jobs here.
Here's the thing about Kaepernick. I think what most people have a problem with, I didn't have a problem with him kneeling, but the first thing he did is sit on his ass, which really looked bad. I mean, it was disrespectful for him to just sit on his ass while everybody else was standing. And then he decided later on to take a knee. Like, it was more respectful. But nobody forgot about him sitting on his ass.
Nobody remembers him sitting down. Nobody. Yeah. And by the way, I've been to a lot of games in my life. And there's always some people sitting because they're just lazy or whatever. Some people, they leave their hats on. It isn't this. Now,
some people sing, some people put their hands on their hearts, some people don't. Some people look focused on the game, and they're just like kind of pacing.
When I was a kid in Philly, everybody sang. The whole place sang. Mm-hmm. They did not need a singer. You know what I mean? Like, they would come out with like a marching band and the whole place would sing. And that was all part of it. But, I think a lot of that has gone away anyway with people. I think a lot of people use patriotism today and the veterans today when it suits them. And that's just one of the sad things about modern life. Here is, Jeff in Tennessee.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'm a 14-year veteran, Iraq, Afghanistan. I just wanted to speak on a couple of the paradoxes of like all this. One, the gentleman earlier asked about the links with the military and the flag, and I just find it funny that the military comes out, they display the flag across the field, but that itself is against statutes and regulations of how to properly show a flag. And the same with, we get upset that people protest the flag or the anthem, but we've got people running around in star-spangled underwear.
Right.
And nobody cares. And then the other thing is, the same people who cry and whine about people improperly using their freedom of speech to protest are the same ones that say they're censored by political correctness.
It's all valid points. Everything that you're saying is a valid point. That we have forgotten this thing of what the way the flag was supposed to be displayed. Like it, I don't know what point that we thought the bigger the flag, the better. I know who started it though. Car dealers.
Oh yeah.
I don't care where you go in any town. A car dealer has a gigantic flag and he's using that thing to draw people to his car lot to then sell cars.
Man, I remember as a kid, this woman was giving a speech at my elementary school and she was talking about patriotism and she was talking about like on the road up to my school, there's this car dealership that had like this preposterously huge American flag. And her whole thing was like, every time I drive past it, I get a tear in my eye when I see it. And like, I have so much respect for them getting this giant flag. And I remember as a kid being like, it's a car dealership, but then thinking like, I guess a smart business thing because here she is crying every time she drives past this place. You know, she's going to go buy a car there the next time.
Andrew, what's up?
Hey, Bennington. You know, it's kind of funny. During the national anthem, with the 45 seconds that it takes, they don't stop selling beer or hot dogs. So I don't think they really care too much about it.
No, and you will see that kind of thing. And really, whether they like it or not, you have to say that they decided it was good TV to focus people on the flag. Because really, why does that part of it even need to be on television? Why does any of it? When you go over to the Red Zone network, that thing kicks in when the games are actually playing.
Right.
You know, not that whole pregame process. But I will tell you, when I was a kid, going to an Army-Navy game and having the cadets file in was unbelievable. And then watching that game with so many of those guys on each side cheering, I'll never forget that. My pop took me to that game when I was a kid in Philly. But that's totally different. That's actually, student athletes that are playing football for fun, and two schools that have this good-natured, rival thing. It isn't tied up in anything but all those guys are heading into the military afterwards. Here's David in Texas.
Hey, Ronnie B.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I appreciate what Gail said because she was getting into a good point about when and where you protest. It's divisive by nature. So the other side, they can complain about it, but I always hear them saying that it's inappropriate whenever they could do it a better way. Well, it's a protest. That's part of what it is.
It is supposed to be a disruptive thing to what is happening.
To call attention to something that you feel isn't getting attention.
Right. And that's a hard thing for, people to put up with. And there's been plenty of protests in this city that have had to jump out of a cab. I'm not like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean? But how else? They're not going to get my attention any other way.
Yeah.
They gotta, they gotta stop my day because I go around doing stuff. You know what I mean?
You're go.
I am go all the time. And again, that wasn't even what started. This is what's always funny. This isn't even what started this conversation today. Let's go over here to Alan in Sacramento. Alan.
That previous caller totally stole my thunder because that's exactly my point. Like, it's a protest. I'm a veteran of two wars. Like, I've seen protests on a level that's been a lot more gruesome than someone taking a knee. So, like, for that guy to start a protest that's so peaceful that all he does is take a knee, and people are, like, copycatting that around the world, not just, like, in his city or in his state. Around the people in Germany that have done that protest now. And it's peaceful. That's the point that should be resonated when it's attached to Kaepernick.
The fact that it's a peaceful protest, it isn't about throwing a rock at somebody. It's not about...
Exactly.
Yeah. And that would be up to us as Americans if we took pride in that. Mm-hmm. If we thought to ourselves, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to the supermarket. People are, marching against grapes or whatever you could be like, oh, this is a great country. You know what I mean? People are allowed to say.
Yeah, nice and easy.
And
we're only comfortable
because our feelings hurt.
Yeah. We're only comfortable with the idea of protest when it's far in the past. It's a historical event.
Then we love Martin Luther King.
Yes, and then we all say, oh, how amazing that was and how incredible that was. I mean, even in recent years when they were talking about, what was the gay club downtown, the trans, Stonewall, right. So during the Stonewall riots and the protests that happened afterwards, and it was for the first time that people were like, I think it was Obama who was like, let us remember the Stonewall riots. And we're like, that is pretty crazy that now in retrospect we see that as a courageous thing when it was thought of as anything but. It was.
And there's a plaque on the Stonewall now.
Yes.
And there's no one who ever thinks, even if you're anti-gay, you don't think that cops should go in there and hit them with sticks, right? At the time, it wasn't just a protest. I mean, those guys were and they weren't even being political. They were just like saying, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done taking shit and we're fighting back. And now, if you look what came on that, the fact that the police force, the New York City police force, or the guys that used to hit them, have these things of gay and lesbian cops, that progress is never easy and it's never overnight. That's one of the things that we were talking about with this Time's Up thing. As long as it took to build up that kind of behavior, it'll probably take that long to change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Change does not happen quickly.
But then we do all, as a country, for the most part, tend to embrace whatever those changes are once they become comfortable enough. We all look at photos of young black children walking into segregated schools for the first time during integration, and we all go, oh God, like what a thing to happen, and looking at this little girl with pride and tears in your, you could be emotional looking at that. And I would say that most Americans get those feelings when they feel that. So it's only after time that we all go, oh yes, we all would have felt that way.
I would love to have known what the approval rating for Martin Luther King was a week or 2 weeks before he was killed, because I guarantee you it wasn't 50% of the country on his side. There were a lot of people against Martin Luther King, and a lot of it came to he's not even from here. Why is he here? He's only here looking to start trouble.
Yeah.
Of course but now it's just remembered as wonderful,
Yeah.
Like, and Jesus the same way. You know what I mean? He did not have a big following when he was alive. People got a lot more comfortable with Jesus after he'd been long dead.
Yeah.
And people were like, you know what? I like that dude. Here is Dan in PA.
Hey there. I am so tired of hearing about how everybody's fighting for my freedom. There are plenty of countries just as free as we are. I have a wife who has multiple sclerosis. She's in pain every day. She can't get opioids because the government has a war on opioids. If we grow pot in our backyard because we can get medicine for free, maybe the government takes our house away. Maybe they take our child away because we're unfit parents. I feel really bad for the guy who got shot up in Iraq, but no one from Iraq attacked us. The individual people in the military I have empathy for, but the military as a whole, if you want to fight for our freedoms, march on Washington, get rid of the Patriot Act. Go out to Arizona and destroy the buildings that they've set up to monitor everybody's cell phone calls. Edward Snowden tells the world about that. What happens? He has to go to Russia for his freedom. I'm just so sick of hearing the freedom bullshit. Thank you.
Here's Dave in Virginia Beach. Dave.
What's going on, guys?
Well, I will tell you this, and it just popped into my head during this show, but there are a lot of different thinking people who listen to this show, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah, me too.
Most radio shows are, you agree with them. You just agree with every side. There's left-wing shows, there's right-wing shows, but because this is more of a comedy show, a lot of different people, and it's fascinating to hear these thoughts. All right, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings a few weeks back watching some of the football games. The national anthem came on. I was looking around thinking to myself, I'm in Hampton Roads. There's a lot of military people here in the area. And I looked around, and not one person stood up and put their hand over their heart during the national anthem. I'm wondering if it's just because they're at a bar or is it a comfortability thing? I'm trying to figure out what that was. It is a fascinating point, and one that never gets brought up is I've been in bars, and it's so loud during the national anthem, no one stops eating and drinking, and then you're like, oh, okay, the game's starting.
Yeah.
But I've never been at a bar where people even so much as got quiet during a national anthem. Never. And I've never thought of that. Beers. All right. Appreciate that, Dave.
No problem, guys.
Here is John. John, what's up?
Hey, Benningtons. I got cut off before my phone was breaking up.
All right,
so
cool.
Hopefully it's better now. Hi. I think people are confusing the First Amendment here in free speech. Free speech is guaranteed by the government that you're not going to be prosecuted for what you say, but your employer does not have to tolerate what you say. And my problem is with the NFL giving these people a forum for kneeling, and that quote-unquote is their right, but your employer doesn't have to subsidize or even condone behavior.
Well, first of all,
Jim McMahon, right, how they fined him for wearing a headband.
Well, you've come up with a great point of that's something that is a dangerous thing today because a lot of speech is controlled by corporations. And if you look at Fox News, they've had several of their people that just lost their jobs because their advertisers were attacked until Fox News decided, hey, it's not worthy to have this person on the air anymore. And I've always, Glenn Beck is a perfect example for me. Glenn Beck, if you would have seen his show, it was selling like it was on at 3 o'clock in the morning. Fox eventually got rid of him. Right. They attacked O'Reilly, and when Fox decided, look, this is more trouble than it's worth money-wise, O'Reilly was out. As big as you could get. And then they attacked Hannity for a while, and it seems like he's been able to hold on. But it's a very dangerous thing, what you're bringing up, John, is that you could just go to the corporations or advertising and stop that. It's something that's concerned me for years.
Yeah, and I guess also the thing about that too is to say that the corporations don't really have a moral ground on what they're making these decisions on. Nope. It is only specifically about money. It's not normally
100%.
Yeah.
100% it's about money.
Yeah. So it's not like they say, this is upsetting. For example, a lot of times, let's say in the case of sexual assault or something. A lot of times those rumors or things have been known within the company for a while. They're trying to deal with it on the inside, not able to, whatever it comes out.
Right.
Then when it becomes public, they're like, oh God, I can't believe this is a mess. And then the advertisers start to pull because people are saying that they won't watch the show, whatever. And that's
you're saying like a Matt Lauer
exactly.
at NBC knew for years.
I think,
and yes, you're right. They only make a money stint. There's no reason for them to do. But even when, let's say, a corporation is doing something good, let's say March of Dimes.
Okay.
It's because it's good for the product.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no point.
Sure.
Even when they're like, hey, let's build a playground for this community because we put, it's positive PR. I personally think that the government is getting, much less power and the corporations are getting more power. Let's go over here to Sergeant Sam in Virginia. Sergeant Sam.
Hey, Ronnie. How you doing, bud?
Hey, buddy.
I just turned on the radio and was listening to your show. I was driving back from work, and I happened to hear the guy talking about his wife, multiple sclerosis, and the war on opiates, and how the whole Iraq war was a sham. It really touched a nerve with me personally because I lost 2 friends over in Iraq, and I can't help but think that sometimes people are losing their reality on the situation, that regardless of what may have happened in the past, we're still doing our jobs. And it's not like we don't want this person to be treated for their illness or whatever the case may be, but I don't think it's fair to say the military should march on Washington. That's not going to happen. That's not how we're designed.
Yeah, I think what happens, Sergeant, is that everybody gets so caught up in just their part of it or their side of it that it gets a little crazy. And I mean, we've got 3 news things up here today, and the amount of journalism that gets done out of any of the 3 major things is very, very minor. Mm-hmm. It is commentary, and the commentary is the same every day. Our side, our side, our side. And it's very, very strange that we don't see America as our side. Our government could be shut down.
If I may interject, you remember just after 9/11, it was almost like the country was completely united because something so bad had happened, and everybody just felt like one team, one fight. And now it feels like it's all about me. And you know what? If you want to go get shot up in Iraq, that's your business. It shouldn't be that way.
I've heard from so many military guys that when they come back to America, it's difficult for them to get into civilian life because there's so much backstabbing and stuff like that. And where in the military, it's more about team victories. You know what I mean?
It very much is.
Yeah.
It's a very hard transition into civilian life, and I've had to go through both. But what I will say is that there are programs from the military that help us in that transition, but it doesn't mean the civilian life is going to accept that transition.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, I get it. It's, and we brought this up before. Like Rome didn't even want the soldiers to come back to Rome. You know what I mean? Like once we send that military out, we're kind of somewhat afraid of them. Mm-hmm. And we try to kind of stamp those guys back out. And even when you see a lot of people who, if they're going into public life in politics and they've used their military background as a way to get votes, a lot of those guys have been accused of not even telling the truth about
I've heard of that as well.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that anyone who's transitioning from the military into civilian life, as civilians, as bosses, or whatever the case may be, embrace these people. Right. Embrace them. Make it, a structure that they can thrive in, they can progress in, and make the companies that they're working for better. You can only be better if you make things better for them, and that's for anyone's case.
Right. Sergeant, I appreciate your call, my friend. Take care.
All right, thanks, Ron. You guys have a good day.
You too. Brian in Maryland. Brian.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on MLK's popularity before his death.
Yeah.
I actually read an article probably earlier this week in The Intercept, about he was incredibly unpopular before his death, and he was kind of an outcast from even the own black community because he came out against the war.
Right.
He thought the war was, so much more important than the racial struggles were actually, slaughtering people around the world. And he was actually outcast because of that.
Yeah, there were, and of course, people don't want certain leadership to go on forever. You know what I mean? There was other people that were also ambitious for their own stuff within that community. But now it is 100%. Everyone loves MLK.
Yeah.
They're crazy about him, both sides.
I've never met a person who said, actually, I don't think he had some good ideas.
What?
I would love for you to meet your Uncle Ray. Because unlike a lot of people, he hasn't changed at all.
Okay.
He's also damn sure the Eagles are going to win this weekend.
Is he?
It's going to happen. I know we got full phones, but we got to break. Appreciate everybody's calls, and I appreciate everybody's manner of speaking too. I think we pretty much just solved all the problems today.
Yeah, I think we got it.
But now I want to talk about Chris Stanley because he's been telling me that he's concerned with his girlfriend and where she lives. She lives in a part of Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
That's called Little Costa Rica. And it's, there's not many houses. I'm going to be honest. It's not that big of a neighborhood,
Okay.
but you say you get concerned not only because of crime, but as you said, dating. Who's coming over? What's
interesting.
happening?
Yeah.
You can take care of this with Ring. Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. Today, over 1 million people use the amazing Ring video doorbell to help protect their homes. Ring knows home security begins at the front door, but it doesn't end there.
And now they're extending that same level of security to the rest of your home with the Ring Floodlight Cam. Just like Ring's amazing doorbell Floodlight Cam is a motion-activated camera and floodlight that connects right to your phone with HD video and two-way audio that lets you know the moment anyone steps on your property.
See and speak to visitors, even set off an alarm right from your phone. With Ring's Floodlight Cam, when things go bump in the night, you'll immediately know what it is. Whether you're home or away, the Ring Floodlight Cam lets you keep an eye on your home from anywhere.
Ring Floodlight offers the ultimate in home security with high visibility floodlights and a powerful HD camera that puts security in your hands. With Ring, you're always home. Save up to $150 off a Ring of Security kit when you go to ring.com/comedy. Ring.com/comedy. That's ring.com/comedy.
Oh, it's Bennington Show. I'll be out at Caroline's very, very soon. Doing some stuff with Dan Perlman, and we'd like you to come and support Dan.
That's happening Tuesday, January 30th at 7:30 p.m. at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York City. Go to carolines.com for tickets. Use the code DAN.
I'm going to be at the Stand all weekend, this weekend too. Nice. I think emceeing tonight, sets tomorrow night. That's the Stand in New York City. Just go to standnyc.com to get tickets, but really good performers there all weekend long.
At the Stand tonight will be Paul Vierzy, Marina Franklin,
great,
Bonnie McFarlane,
wonderful,
Giannis Pappas,
fantastic,
Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer, how we love her. She's starting here soon.
Soon, yeah, starting.
You don't want to say, I'm not giving out the dates.
Okay.
But she's starting here soon. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, soon. TheStandNYC.com for
tickets. Thank you. Good shows.
I know, really good shows. The Stand is, really the best. I love even just...
The seller.
Well, they're great.
They get their feelings hurt.
They shouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, everyone gets their feelings hurt. That's the thing about America. Everyone gets their feelings hurt.
We're all really snowflakes inside.
I consider myself more hail. Or maybe even a freezing rain. Black ice, I like to consider myself once I hit the ground. Yeah. Black Ice is the new Marvel character that's coming out soon.
Good.
They said there's more people buying advance tickets to that than any film in the history of the United States.
There's so much buzz about it.
Black Ice will make you slip and fall. Black ice. Oh, you're running away? Perhaps a little black ice will slow you down. I didn't say I was black nice. I said I was black ice.
That's good. It's really good.
Have some black rice. Because black ice is here. Well, I'm as black as ice. I'm willing to sacrifice. A couple big viral videos that all the kids are loving. And this one kid, I want to say right now, I'll put a boot in his ass if this was my kid.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This kid kills me.
First of all, what's with that extended belly?
I know.
Is he drinking?
That little pot belly is like a perfectly round beer belly on a baby. It's so funny.
Is that his belly button sticking out like that? Or is the turkey done? All right, let's play a little. 3.5 million people already viewed this. Play a little bit.
I don't want you to cook for me. I don't care if you shake your head. Give me my cheese.
Mama, man, don't start it, Mama. Please don't start it, Mama. Man, Mama.
James, I'm serious.
Mama, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
James, you're not about to cook nothing. You're not about to waste my cheese.
Touch me.
I'm about to show you.
Don't touch me.
And hold up. Who you think you're playing with?
Mama, I'm trying to cook for you. What you think? You want me to get out?
No, but you're not about to cook. I can cook my own food.
So he's putting cheese on lettuce?
He has a bag of shredded cheese and then just a Tupperware full of lettuce.
And what do you think he's making? A refreshing salad?
I don't know. Some sort of cheese salad, I think.
All right. Play a little more.
Ooh, James, you're not about to waste my cheese. You don't even eat lettuce.
Look how happy he is with that.
He's so happy. Lettuce is good.
That's a bad kid. That is a bad kid.
Okay, now give me the cheese.
Okay, Mama. Let me cook for you.
You're not about to cook and you put that lettuce back in my stuff. You serious?
Mama, don't start today, Mama. No.
No, you don't start it today. I'm not about to do this with you.
I ain't starting it. You starting it today. I'm trying to cook for you.
I don't need you to cook for me, James. I can cook for myself. Don't you pour that cheese in my stuff.
Mama, don't.
James, you don't even know how to make a salad.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I learned myself to do.
How you gonna learn yourself how to cook a salad? Make a salad. Give me my stuff. James, if you drop my lettuce, you gonna go buy me some more.
Don't start, Mama.
Let me just say this. This is every production meeting I have with Chris Stanley.
Don't start it today, Mama. Don't start. Not today.
This video would end with me knocking a 1-foot person on their ass.
I mean, that is the sassiest kid ever.
Lettuce and cheese is not a salad. And any adult in America knows that. He is just trying to run things.
Look, just let him cook for you.
And he wasn't making it for her. He got caught just playing restaurant. He's so little, he's standing on those steps. Don't start today, Mama.
I love like the beginning when he's like, man, don't start it. Oh, man, don't touch me, Mama. Like, he is so sassy.
He's sassy as hell. What's another big video that's out there today?
Oh, man, there's a video out there up on the iBang of a boat crash that is so intense, like it terrified me. So this is a boat driving full speed towards...
Can I just point to... We told this Chris Stanley to have these up during a commercial, and he's slapping around over there. Not today, Ronnie. Don't you do it today, Ronnie.
Not today.
I'm making you a video, Ronnie.
I learned myself to do it.
That's Chris. He learned himself to do it. So this is a boat coming full speed. It's some guys that are...
Oh, shit.
Where was the driver of this boat, Dad?
So, no. The driver is a 70-year-old man who was sitting down while driving, couldn't see over the dash.
He is haul-assing into shore, though.
I know, because look, they're not far out there. I mean, you're seeing how close they are. This is a little tiny fishing boat. These people ditch the boat at the last possible second, at the last possible moment for them to jump. They make the decision, and they all just fucking
They all just saved their lives.
Yeah.
They've saved their own lives.
Now
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
So the guy was 70 years old, and he actually gets around on like a little motorized scooter. He doesn't even walk. So he's driving his boat this fast, can't see over the dash, and then when he was questioned about it, by media, he said, "This is fake news."
Where's he? We got that guy?
No, I read it in the article that they tried to get him to talk about it. But he is, of course, being sued for this. Of course he is. But it's just so funny that when media tried to talk to him, he's like, "Fake news. This is fake news."
These people,
your boat.
like, they're also, the people in the boat aren't the age that you go overboard on a cold day either.
No, this is not a young crew.
Yeah. These are people that are all pushing 60 themselves. And this is like PT 109, like John Kennedy had to be a hero and probably put one of these people in his teeth and take them back.
Now, the other thing is, I don't know exactly where this is taking place, but it doesn't look like the kind of water you want to be jumping into.
No, man, you can see everybody's in sweatshirts and stuff.
They're all bundled up. It's as gray as shit. The water's gray. It looks cold.
And there's nobody else really. I mean, there's nobody on this bay. It's these two boats.
Yeah. They would be dead for sure.
But it's almost impossible for this guy to have picked this to hit.
I know. You're right.
But the next thing he was going to hit was a dock.
Yeah.
Because he was never slowing down.
He's crazy.
He was in the Columbia River in Oregon.
Yeah, it looks cold as shit there. But look, if you watch the moment, it's really interesting. They never have a conversation.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, should we just, it's just one guy goes and the other two people said, fuck it, we're all going. There's
Because
no time to talk.
Not to be seen. They never expected it. You know what I want this, Chris? Get this on VR for me.
Okay.
So I can be at my house. And I have to jump off my couch. Crazy shit out there.
It may or may not be fake news, though.
Yeah, well, it's real news to me. It's more important than anything else on TV today. All right, here's something, and I haven't seen this at all, but Jeff Tate has put together the 5, right?
Okay.
The 5. We haven't done a 5 in a long time. And according to him, the 5 greatest Tom Petty songs to listen to while high.
Okay.
Now, before I even check into this, I don't know of a bad Tom Petty song to listen to while high. So to say these are the 5 greatest, that's a tough one to pull off. All right, so let's go through this. This is up on the iBank today. By the way, he's a very funny comedian, and he also understands how to be high. So let's see whether we agree or disagree.
Number 1, Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Well, obviously that's about weed, and people that are smoking weed like to hear about weed.
Yeah. It's right there.
So this is I'll say this, safe bet.
Yeah.
Safe bet.
It might be a little on the nose, but it might have been silly to ignore it.
A lot of times when you're high, though, you do like stuff that's like directly on the nose.
Right. And this is...
I feel like rolling one up.
I feel so chill right now. Just listen to it. I feel really mellowed out.
I'm just as chill as I'm listening to that show, that song called Weightless that makes you fall asleep.
Did you finally listen to it?
Yeah, but I only listened to it when I was awake. You know what I mean? Like, I only listened to it during the day. I've seemed to be not in an insomniac place right now.
That's good.
I want to keep it that way.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Last night, hit the bed, was asleep.
That's perfect. Like a normal person.
Like I was shot with some kind of sleeping dart. Now let's hear the next one.
My Life, Your World.
All right, let's take a listen. Be high for this. No, this is a deep track, by the way. The great Tom Petty. This is up on the iBang under what, Chris?
This is the 5 greatest Tom Petty songs to listen to while high.
I don't know if there's a bad one, if I'm going to be completely honest here.
Yeah.
I think you can throw a dart at the Tom Petty playlist and be pretty okay when you're high.
And the fifth song is House in the Woods from Wildflowers.
All right, that's sweet. Good stuff. It's up on the iBank today. We'll be right back. This on a Friday is Bennington. It's the Bennington Show. Looking up, not knowing whether our government's going to be shut down or not. But the TV networks are loving this drama. All three, trying to go on to the last moment. Here is, Schumer and Trump are going to meet at the White House. So I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's time to make a deal, or even just that, hey, let's push it back a month. Chris Christie, I would have loved to have him there. He is no longer governor, and this is so sad. He went to the Newark airport tried to go through the VIP security screening, and found out it ain't you, dude, it's the job.
Oh no.
He had to walk back.
Just like a regular citizen?
Like a strap hanger. Like a regular fucking lunchbox Joe.
He's living in an ordinary world now.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. And you thought it was you, but it ain't. The new governor just goes riding through on a bicycle. So, rough one for Chris Christie.
So, the other day I was watching a movie.
Exciting.
And it had me thinking. Now, this is I would not say a great film, but it was a highly entertaining film.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the film Twister, which I rewatched for some reason from start to finish all the way through. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but I've seen that movie more times than I care to admit. What would you say is the greatest man versus nature movie?
Because when you say man versus nature, my immediately goes to a guy who's all by himself, not a lot there, and he's trying to battle against nature. But you were saying it's the earthquake movies, it's the tidal wave movies.
Yes, or it could also just lend itself to, as long as it is not man versus himself or man versus other man, it's like something in the natural world.
Something in the natural world. Would you throw away Jaws?
100% is a man versus nature movie.
Okay, interesting. Close. The remake where it was a bear who would maul people. Which I made the point, and I actually sent this into Hollywood. I said, wouldn't Malls have been a better title than Claws? Guess what? I never heard back from them.
What?
Because I'm going to tell you this, and I know we got one heading our way. We have a giant asteroid heading here.
Yeah.
And I immediately said, we need to get some Wildcat Oil people on.
That's always the solution.
Yeah. So Armageddon never, there's no one who would say that was a good movie.
Right.
I've watched it multiple times and choked up when he pushes Ben Affleck by yanking his airbag.
Oh yeah, I remember bawling in that movie, and I remember it was the kind of movie where you could hear people sobbing in the theater.
Yeah,
like I can remember that happening in Titanic, and I remember that happening.
Well, Ben Affleck is yelling. You're like, look, I can tell you this from a father, like from a father's point of view. You just want to go out with everybody in the family owing you.
Yes.
Right? You've done something so wonderful. All right, anybody would save their daughter, but their daughter's boyfriend,
who he wasn't even crazy about.
Yeah, but he was like a dad to me. He kind of was crazy. He saw a lot of himself in it.
Right.
And then you're going to go to the funeral, to the wedding, and they put up a big picture of the dead guy.
It's a damper on the day.
Aerosmith is singing this cheesy song when it's Aerosmith's daughter getting married. JT, man versus nature movie.
Castaway.
Castaway.
Prize closet?
No, you're not going to get a prize closet for that. But I will say this: Castaway is the only movie I think people have cried watching a soccer ball float out.
I know. That was so strange, but they did really build up Wilson to the point.
The amazing,
Wilson!
Yeah. And then his wife's name is Wilson, which is weird.
Weird.
In real
That's
life.
probably what he was thinking about to get himself
I think he was
worked
thinking
up.
about the soccer ball.
Wilson!
To me, the weirdest, I mean, when Helen Hunt comes running back outside, and then he still sends her back in. You know, because everyone has a love of their life like that.
Yeah.
But for me, that was tougher for her. And when he found out that Tennessee has a pro football team, and it's not Memphis, it's Nashville. But that thing, too, where he's standing alone at the end.
Yeah.
Do you know what the thing that they were handing? Remember he delivered a package for FedEx?
Yes.
Do you know what was in there?
I don't remember what it was in
An
there.
international cell phone and batteries.
Damn it!
Why didn't he just
open it?
It wasn't his place to do. He was FedEx through and through. I was in Memphis before, and Memphis has the busiest airport overnights because it's the hub for FedEx.
Oh,
and there's
really?
no airport in the country that's busier from like 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
I had no idea of that. That's really nuts.
They're stacking up flights outside Memphis.
So we can get our goods. Our sweet goods that we love so
Yeah,
well.
we love our goods.
as quickly as possible?
Why aren't my goods here yet?
Mike in Jersey.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
The Poseidon Adventure.
There's
An
got to be
all-star
a
cast in that, Ron.
morning after. I will tell you this about the Poseidon Adventure. I didn't realize it at the time, but I realize it now. It's really a slow film.
You know, I have not seen it since I was a kid, and I can only remember the very dramatic scene of the flip upside down. It's the only thing I can remember.
People
from
think
it.
about it on cruise ships all the time.
Yeah.
The upside down cruise ship. And when the fat lady tried to swim underwater and didn't make it. That was the saddest shit. I forgot her name. She won 2 Oscars, and I can't remember her name now.
It haunted me as a child, that scene.
Well, it was like you in a wig, fucking taking a long swim. There was no reason for me to say that. I'm going to apologize to you, Chris Stanley. It's championship weekend, and that was just cruelty. And then after what I ate for dinner last night after we went home. Because Chris got pizzas for us because we had to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I had for dinner last night?
What's that?
Cinnamon rolls. So I'm going through a little winter meltdown here. I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
That's not a smart thing to do for dinner. That's not a healthy choice.
Tastes good, though.
And I notice Vito's on a diet, but he won't tell us. He's just like, no, I'm not in the mood for pizza. You're on a full fucking diet, dude.
I just don't like
admit it.
greasy food anymore.
Just admit it. Just say,
you're on a diet.
guys, new year, new me. I've been on a
new me.
that
New year, same old shit.
Stop it.
He's on the South.
He doesn't want
Nobody does that
check in
anymore.
on him.
He's on the South.
No one's done that since 2004.
I'm freestyling with Oprah.
Oh, the next president? Hey, there's over 300 things that you can eat and not gain weight. What are you talking about? Grapes, lettuce, carrots? What else?
Tacos.
There's nothing good.
I know a kid who can make a great salad for you.
Not today, Mama. Let me make that food for you.
Don't start it today.
Shelley Winters.
Oh, I was going to go to Eric and put him in the prize closet, but instead, Chris, you go in. Let Eric know the bad news that you took a prize away from Eric.
Oh no!
You were heading into the prize closet, but Biggie Google over here wanted to be the winner.
I heard him. Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Right.
Chris, would you be willing to give him your shirt today as a prize closet?
I need this shirt.
You really don't. That's one of the shirts we want to see you getting out of.
Yeah. Just at least send him the shirt.
I'm not sending him my shirt.
These are not the shirts.
Come on, send me a shirt.
People call it, I'm not sending you my shirt. I need this shirt. I don't have a lot of shirts.
You stole a prize from the man.
Come on, give me the shirt.
Are you going to wear the shirt?
Yeah, I'll wear the shirt.
Either that or use it as a tent. He did steal your prize, though, Eric. I'm sorry, my friend. Take care. But that Google's amazing, huh? You can find out anything there. Roger in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know if based on a true story count, but Into the Wild.
Well,
yes, I think that to me was one of the best. Like, I think it's like a great film that is a man versus nature film.
I thought so.
It could also be called a stupid boy versus nature. I wanted to beat him
I
to
know.
a pulp.
It is really
I was
upsetting.
so fucking angry. First of all, man versus nature should not be man dying, particularly when he's not that far away from food and water and everything. This was the stupidest kid I ever saw in my life.
It's so heartbreaking and so frustrating, particularly in the end when you realize it was so avoidable. The whole thing was so avoidable.
And this is why people don't want their kids to hike.
Yeah.
Because they're dumb. 866 Rock God, 866 Rock God, man versus nature. Well, I'll tell you, the man versus nature.
844.
What did I say?
866.
844 Rock God. Thank you for correcting me. Gail, go into the big ass prize closet. Get yourself one of Chris's shirts. 844 Rock God. I kind of hit a weird patch today. I was loving today's show. Hit a weird patch. Hard Rock Johnny, man versus nature.
I have two.
Why? Why wouldn't you just have one?
Because I have one that I loved from when I was a little kid because it scared the shit out of me, and one that's more modern.
Well, why don't you just have one? That way, you know,
everyone gets a piece.
Everybody gets a piece of the pie. Everybody gets a little slice for themselves.
I'm going to go with the old one that scared me as a kid. It was a great one called The White Buffalo.
Oh, that one was stupid. I wish I would have heard his new one. The new one had to be better than White Buffalo. White Buffalo is the suburb where my friend came from. It's the, as he called it, the upscale mainline type buffalo. Very mainline. So you loved White Buffalo.
I
have never seen
Was
White.
that Paul Newman in that?
No, it was Charles Bronson.
Okay. Paul Newman was in something else. Maybe he was in one of the Buffalo Bills. But Charles Bronson is a forgotten movie star because his movies were not very good. And he wasn't much of an actor. But he was the only movie star in history who, if I think he took the DNA test, it would come back Mongolian. He had very Mongolian features. And yet, he never brought it up and said, like, hey, I want to thank all my people from Mongolia for this. But they're remaking his biggest film, Death Wish. And it's Bruce Willis. And I don't think it'll go down the same way today. It's one of those films. I just don't know whether it'll play the same way.
Yeah, it seems like it, particularly right now, could dance on a weird edge. The whole
A razor's edge is what you're saying, my friend. A razor's edge. Thank you, Johnny, for your
Later,
one.
Bennington.
Yeah, your one pick, which I have a feeling not the good one. Let's go over here to Sean, Maryland. Sean.
Hey, Ronnie, how you guys doing?
Cool, man.
Would Cujo count?
Now, Cujo is a dog who kept the family in a car. Comes from the mind of the horror meister himself, Stephen King. You would not think that could be a film.
Yeah.
And yet it was. Now, what is it? The dog had rabies or something?
I can't remember what.
Got bit by a bat.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So then he just went full Cujo.
Yeah, it wasn't an evil spirit or anything. It was, but I will tell you, when I was a kid, my dog, Bonnie. Hey, Bonnie. He had one time in the summer, and we're down at our little cottage in Maryland, and he either had a stroke or a fit or something, and wouldn't let any of us out of the house.
Really?
And this dog could, I'm not killing you, I mean, this dog could have bit a 2x4.5. I've seen him fight.
Yeah.
And it was just like, buddy, I don't know what's going on with you, and my dad wasn't with us, so we were like, none of us have control over this dog. And the next morning, it seemed like he was okay. That's why we thought maybe he had a little weird sickness of
Yeah,
some
something
kind.
must have happened where he was in a panic.
If
Well,
I'd
what
been
if-
smart enough to write it down, I'd be Stephen King right now.
But what if you had found out that there was, like, outside, there had been some sort of, like, toxic gas leak, and Buddy was saving you all?
You know what? There could have been a bad animal out there that he didn't want us to go out and see, but normally he would have attacked that animal, and I don't care if it was a rhino. He would have attacked. I'm not even making that up. Back when dogs used to be able to run around themselves, this thing was like a dog fighter. Like, he could have had an orangutan as his best friend and made the dog version of Any Which Way But Loose. Driver in Tennessee.
Ronnie B, how are you today?
Cool, man.
Yeah, I've got one. I hope you've seen it. It was with James Franco, 127 Hours.
Freaked me out.
Really, that one really got to me.
Now, here's the
I
thing.
don't know if I could watch that again.
This is the weird thing about it. In this movie, he gets stuck, and there's no one around. Again, based on a true story, again, dumb kid. Doing dumb things, right? I mean, he never should have been there by himself. And he had to cut off his arm with a little knife. The weird thing is, I did that at 4 different James Franco films. 127 hours. That's a good one.
Yeah, and now
nature just rocks.
Yeah, nature is the rocks that he's stuck in.
But the scene where they go down to that underground thing is just absolutely beautiful.
But it did make me think when I was watching it, like, oh, if I was in this scenario, I guess I would die, because there's no way I would have done what he did. I would still be like, help!
I'm sure that
a week later, please help.
I'm sure that I would have stuffed my other hand down there and at least one of my legs.
All right, so now I have one limb. Great.
I think if anyone else would have come up with him, he would have been the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that if paramedics would have got there, they would have had to cut his arm off.
Yeah.
Peter in New York.
Ronnie, what's going on? How you doing?
Good.
What about Whitewater Summer with Kevin Bacon and that kid from Goonies?
Now, was that the one where Kevin Bacon was the bad guy?
Kind of. He was a camp counselor, kind of an asshole, but at the end they were all friends.
Oh, I was thinking of another.
Me too. I was
where
thinking the same thing.
Kevin Bacon is like a killer at a rafting place.
Yeah, and he I can't remember the premise of that. I had totally forgotten about that movie.
Yeah.
But he's a bad guy, and I don't know what he's trying to do to the family that he
I
had
think
taken.
he was going to rob them, or he saw them murder somebody.
Did something.
Yeah, something bad.
Yeah.
Something bad to fucking Kevin Bacon. No wonder they canceled I Love Dick after one season. You can't trust Kevin Bacon.
That film would be Man versus Man, but in nature.
I would call it Man versus Bacon. Tony in Kansas.
Yeah, here's a one for you. I haven't watched it since I was young, and then seen it on Netflix, so watched it with my son. A Quest for Fire.
It's basically cave people acting like real cave people, like they're not cartoon cave people. And they were on a quest to find fire, because that fire meant not just life, but civilization. And there were all different versions of cave people, some that were more animalistic than others. But I saw it, and I remember feeling freezing cold the whole time I had it on. Like I just said, forget fire, at least find a sleeping bag. Too wet, too cold for me to exist without shelter.
Haven't you said before that you hate a movie that's too cold?
Despise a movie. And so does America.
Yeah.
There's very rare that a cold movie makes money.
Yeah.
Like if you come in and you pitch like, hey, I got an idea. These people are trapped in a blizzard. Most of the time the studios are going to go, can we trap them on an island?
Right.
That way the women can wear less clothes. They can be, taking showers inside of a waterfall. No one likes to feel cold at the movies. Jay in New York.
Hey guys, I'm thinking Wes Craven there, Moonrise Kingdom, or Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom.
It would have been really weird if Wes Craven made that. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be a different movie altogether. That or Snakes in the Plane, right?
See, you went and gave 2, and you cost Barry in South Jersey his chance to have his own. You've done what we call a hard rock Johnny on somebody. Barry, so sorry he took yours, Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, man.
And it was good enough to send you into a prize closet.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
People are getting cheated out of prizes
Yes.
left and right.
When you were talking about Paul Newman, wasn't it? Did they do a movie, Volcano, something like that? Wasn't it Volcano?
There were volcano movies made, and Paul Newman during the late 70s made some of those disaster picks. Disaster picks got very big for a while, went away and they're back. Now they're kind of weather porn movies. And it's always like, man did not listen.
Yes.
And because of this, everything they know is going to turn to shit. Why people want to see that, I don't know.
It is weird that it's always after a war, some sort of disaster, film will go in the way of like porn of that thing. And right now the weather fears are real. And so they're like weather movies so you can indulge your fears.
That just reminded me that the state of Florida is going to make an attack on porn.
Oh yeah. What is their issue with porn right now?
They think it fucks people up, makes people a little like, hey, I just want to watch porn and do nothing else. Which could be said of anything on TV. You know? I'm always amazed how many murder movies we're ready to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't act like I'm not one of those people. I saw a murder in a movie that was so disturbing to me because I felt like it was one of the more realistic scenes the way a murder goes down. And that was Girl on the Train. And
really?
I'm not saying it's a good movie, but what I saw made me think, well, it made me cringe. And I thought, oh yeah, that's how people tend to actually get murdered.
Right.
You know?
Because it's probably, I didn't see the movie, but is it the kind of thing where it's like sloppy and panicky rather than clean and precise?
Yes.
Yeah, that's scary. That kind of reminds me of, like the deaths in...
There's Schumer leaving the White House, and it looks like he's in an old school fucking station wagon. I don't even remember. That's actually called a Woody. The ones that have the wood. Yeah. That's where all the Beach Boys songs are talking about. But it's been a long time since I saw someone go down the road in a station wagon. And when I was a little kid, that was the SUV of that era.
That's a family car.
Yeah. And we never had one, but my friends would, like, if you wanted to go somewhere with their family, you were just sitting in the back with your knees up to your fucking thing because there'd be no seats. And I'd be like, this is the way these fuckers travel? And you're next to a suitcase? Hey, Brian. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Hey.
Old movie with a great song, Blue Horizon.
Blue Horizon. Who was in it? We lost you, dude. I'm interested. Michael in Florida.
All right, two things. One, the movie with Kevin Bacon is River Wild.
River Wild,
yes. Yeah. And two?
Right. No, the second thing is, like you were just talking about, a scene in a movie that made you think realism, right?
Yeah.
Think about, like, the first 18 minutes of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, and they kind of attempt to do that over and over now, but at the time it was shocking. But I'll say this. One, you're going to the pretty good prize closet.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. Thanks for not stealing that from him, Chris. It means a lot to me. Cooch! You're on the air.
Cousin, the movie that gave us The Extreme, Twister.
The Extreme. That's what started this, right?
Yes.
It's one of Gail's favorite movies.
I really wish it wasn't, but it truly is.
I remember when that movie came out, we thought it was so funny and weird. I mean, when it came to cable, but as a family, we must watch it 7 times.
Oh, yeah. It's not good, but it's highly entertaining. Something that also you forget when you rewatch it, there are so many, car action moments because they can't just make it all Twister. So there's like a couple different like, oh my God, I almost crashed into this. But it's like there's not a Twister at the time because they're just driving really fast through most of the movie.
They're storm chasers.
So there's just like a couple just like almost road accidents.
It gets in your blood though, Gail. There's certain people that come storm shaped. You saw this, Chris?
I've never seen Twister.
Are you kidding? I'm so glad because I almost referenced a death in it.
Vito, have you seen Twister?
Yeah, apparently I loved it when I was a kid.
Let me ask you this question. You'll get your look. He tried to put on headphones and they spit off the top of his head. I've never seen that happen.
It was like a cartoon.
3 decades of radio and I have never seen someone's head that forces the headphones off. All right, are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is for the final question.
Fuck.
The movie Twister. This is for all the money. You get it? You get all the money. If you miss
that's a lot of money.
you walk home naked tonight.
Okay. Money
with a
versus naked.
sign saying something against minorities.
No, this isn't Die Hard 3.
Simon Says.
Who did the soundtrack to the movie Twister? Forcing that music to sound like a Twister.
Hans Zimmer.
Is that your final answer?
I'll put the board on right now. I won't. I'm not going to put the board on.
Do you know, Gail?
I don't think I know this answer.
I do not know.
It's not Hans Zimmer.
Damn it.
It's Mr. Edward Van Halen.
Oh, I did not know that.
All three of you guys tell me you're the biggest Van Halen
I
heads in
did
the
say that, and now I have to wear a racist sign, I think.
Chris, your racist sign has to be all weekend, and it has to be stuff against Costa Rica. You know what I want your sign to say? Costa Rica, birthplace of AIDS.
Can mine just like say something bad about like a not so scary minority?
Yeah. Why don't you say this? Nazis, more like nosies.
Oh, good.
You know, sometimes I feel like it's the only people it's okay to be prejudiced against are white men. At the big award party this weekend, the SAG Awards, which I have my own name that rhymes with it, but I can no longer use it. I think it's a bad idea to not have men present. I think it sets up boys versus girls.
I think so too.
And what it should be is humans versus humans that are acting poorly.
By the way, we never had a problem with not enough female presenters. That's not at all an
You're
issue.
not making the exact number. It's the one thing that they're good at.
Yeah, it's usually
like, I'm a black man and I'm a white country woman. You wouldn't expect us both to be hanging like this. But, you know, maybe tonight I'll be a little bit country and I'll be a little bit hip-hop. So let's give out the award. Doesn't make sense.
No.
You are right. That has not been the
never
problem.
been the issue at all.
Who else said that they would never do another Woody Allen film? It's starting to look like he'll never get another one made.
It was Colin Firth.
That's right. Conor McGregor says that he will never do it. But he will fight him. All right, let's have an over-under. Who believes that this next one that's coming out, that all the stars are giving back the money, except for Selena Gomez, who goes like this: believe me, there's no money on doing one of his movies anyway, and I've already given money to the, whatever it is, White Lives Matter. Who thinks he never makes another one?
He never makes another movie again.
I think 15 years he makes another one.
He's dead in 15 years.
Yeah, are you
doing
kidding?
it.
I think that this has to be the last one. I mean, first of all, let's just say this didn't happen. How many more movies? That's the way to start. How many more Woody Allen movies do you think he could
his
have made?
parents, I think his dad just died and his mom's still alive.
Okay.
So, and there's no, like, he doesn't make movies other than, for any other reason other than he makes movies.
Right.
That's why he does it. You know, it's like, he's like an old man that likes to mow the lawn.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, mow the lawn day. I'm going to say this. He shall make more movies, but not in this country, he will make them in the country of France, where the women are giving a gigantic backlash against the Me Too movement.
Really?
They are fucking crazy anti-Me Too. I mean, down to a woman. I think that we're trying to stop their sexuality. They're
Interesting.
like, French women fuck everybody. So I don't want to hear about this. And we don't have to be asked. That's what they're saying. Don't bother asking us. We're French. We're ready to bang. So I think, and I mean, that's where the other guy is welcome to make movies. And I think it's also that they think they're protecting him. Even though he's like a Czech or something to begin with. So, long story short, I don't think he makes another American movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think that stops him. And, I read stuff, with, I guess it's Dylan, that's the daughter, who claims this. And she's more aggressive than ever. This is never going to stop.
Yeah.
She wants to ruin him.
Yeah.
She wants to ruin him. And then the son he's got a deal on HBO, which I think will probably end up making I think he's going to make a giant documentary about what a piece of shit Woody Allen is.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, he's been so vocal for a long time and, also just relentless about it. Like he's obsessive about anytime that there's any positive press about Woody Allen for the past few years. He has spoken out every time.
And I have a friend, who's been a long time, 40-year fan of Woody Allen. Obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's ever a Woody Allen thing to talk about, you talk about it with her. She's still on Woody Allen's side. She's like, me and Farrah was kind of crazy with her when she was little, and you know what I mean? Me and Farrah. And then she's also very pro Louis C.K. So it is hard when you really love something to go, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Although, I only know one theater that runs Woody Allen movies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's the same one on the east side that runs it all the time. And I didn't bother go to see this Wonderland thing,
Yeah.
I want to see Justin Timberlake in a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah.
Here's what I wrote. Police. That same person saw the Gary Oldman movie.
Yes.
And said, you'd have to go back to Sophie's Choice to see an acting thing that is so dead on.
Wow.
She said, you will not see Gary Oldman in this movie. I plan on seeing it Monday.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see it.
Well, unfortunately, SAG Awards are Sunday night. I don't know if there's enough pushing this movie.
Yeah.
This Churchill movie.
I agree. But it does seem like something that should be, award bait. It's like it has all the makings, a great performance, it's historical.
You would think, but they said that the movie's not that good, but he is. Now, I said a buddy of mine from a coffee shop I go to, I said, you want to go see Churchill? He goes, why would I ever want to see a movie about a racetrack? I go, it's not Churchill Downs. This is about Winston Churchill. And he goes, this. He's the guy who started the track. I go, you think? Schumer just said he made some progress in talks with Trump.
Interesting.
He made some progress. You know what I mean? They started to really listen to each other.
Good.
A little give and take. Chris had said this morning, good news. But you see how long after.
Yeah.
Why did you think that was?
I misread it because I thought I didn't read.
Did you see the title of the article?
I think the article changed between when I sent it because it got like an update or whatever. So I thought I read that they made the deal.
But nowhere else was claiming that thing.
Can I just ask this? I'm going to do a one-man jury, and that's going to be Vito.
Okay.
And Vito, you heard him say that they changed the article after he said it in. Do you believe him? Innocent? Not believe him? Guilty?
I don't believe him. What article would change?
You're not even, as a jury, is not taking any time
No, I've
to
already
even
made my
wrestle with
decision.
these facts?
Wrestle a little bit.
Because what headline changes after they put it up? They can't just, it would at least say edit or update.
2 games this weekend, right?
Yes.
You're each putting out your bets. You each look the same.
True.
Do we have to wait for you guys on social media to get this? You guys are Graham boys, right?
We're Graham boys, yeah. Those are my people.
Where the Graham boys go. What happened to your Scope Bros?
Scope Bros are on Periscope. The people watch.
I know, but you don't go to Scope anymore, right?
I know. I'm not. But no, I don't.
I know
Graham
the
boy.
Scope boys are on Periscope. I said, what happened to the Scope boys? I says, why have you forgiven him? I guess I changed the headlines, Chris.
Mine are V-boys. And I'm the spread king.
I thought you were Pixtradamus.
I'm Pixtradamus, the spread king.
The spread king will spread his legs for anybody.
Sexual and dirty.
Yeah.
I go by many names.
You don't even know what the spread is.
Oh, really? I know what the spread is this weekend, big boy.
Homeless guy.
Homeless guy.
Homeless dudes will call me big boy or big man.
Because you're fat.
So are you. You've got it also.
The association of like only homeless people.
By the way, let me just fix that. It's not the homeless guys who say it. It's the guys who collect money for the homeless guys.
Those guys seem homeless
And
too.
They're not homeless.
No, they're not.
That's their job. And they say it to every man.
Yeah.
But I have a friend of mine, he doesn't want to be a public figure, that used to really get his feelings hurt by it.
Yeah, but
They would go, hey, big guy, you got any money?
I think that I have heard them say that to a lot of people.
They say it to everybody.
They think it's complimentary.
I feel like when anybody calls me big man, they're just saying fat, but in a nicer way. It's just like they want to say, hey, fat guy, but they're like, that's aggressive.
Is fat the new black?
Yeah, I'm taking the word back.
Well, what word can we use?
Nothing. The F word.
Oh.
Not that one.
Which one then?
This is the new third F word.
Oh my God, there's too many.
Yeah, we're taking away the F.
We're going to have to get rid of the initial F.
F3, I guess we'll call it. I agree. At least let's put F1 back on the table for everyone to use.
I forgot what F1 was.
Which is fuck.
Okay.
Oh,
That's how far back I'm going. How about if he just goes, hey, big fuck, how about a little help for the homeless?
I like big fuck.
Hey, big fuck, give me some money.
Shut up, you big fuck. So we're waiting, I guess, right, for your social medias?
Yeah. Because, I gotta give it to the Graham Boys and the Pinwheel Posse, which is also part of it.
Pinwheel Posse?
The Pinwheel Posse, yeah.
What does that
Because
mean?
where I gram from, there's a pinwheel that people seem to be very big fan of.
I'll just say this. You're back to the second F word now. If you've got a pinwheel posse.
I didn't make it up. They're calling themselves that.
Hey, one time Chris called me pinwheel pussy.
That's not right.
Pussy.
Hey, pussy lovers.
Hey, pussy lover, we got all kinds of pussy for you.
Says at Bennington.
Are you watching the game with her? Does she understand it at all?
She understands the game.
Even
of
if though it's not in her native tongue?
She can speak English.
A little bit, man.
She has a heavy accent.
I make out every third word.
Third F word.
Yeah, we came across the Rio Grande.
Why are you bringing that up right now?
Because I'm a dreamer, man. My dream is to be with Grace.
We're making that dream come true.
Oh.
At Bennington SXM on Instagram. That's where you can follow and see me and Vito's picks on Sunday.
How do you guys, are you guys going to duke out? Like,
do you each take whatever? Yeah. Do you not even know what the other person's taking?
No, I don't know what the other person's taking.
The other person is Vito.
But for me to say other person, because I'm talking about both of you. But for you to say it's just lazy and or dumb. Vito, do you check to see what he's doing first?
No, I just go on my own 2 feet.
Vito bets with his feet.
Shit.
Let's see what feet want me to do.
Oh, lefty and right, you're fighting over it.
This week, Vito's still taking the Falcons.
Like the lines actually moved in the Patriots game 2 points.
Well, of course, no one knows what's going on with Brady's hand. How come he's fine every game of the year, gets to the playoffs and everything hurts?
There was a collision at practice.
More like
his right hand works.
Do you think it's them faking it though?
I don't put it above Belichick to do
No,
that.
why would you? I mean, it's a great fucking thing to have the other team going, I don't think Brady's playing. And then see him just running out and you just see him fucking firing his deflated ball.
Permission. The hand is fine. We practiced against the bad hand person.
I hope he comes out with a fake Luke Skywalker hand. He uses it to crush anybody coming at him. All right, Mad Dog Mattis said our competitive edge has eroded. Well, that's why we hired you, big guy. Let's get back into it. You're called Mad Dog.
Big man.
Not okay, dog. Pennsylvania Trump voter says we're always Trump, no matter what happens. I believe that. That's why I tried to tell our 2 minority guests this week. You've got to just change a couple of states, and I don't see those states changing.
Yeah.
Certainly not if you bring in Oprah or, anything that they see as masculine, Caucasian.
Sure. Their favorite thing.
Yeah. Vito, can you even give us a hint this weekend?
Yeah.
Because Chris won't.
Nope.
What time are you giving your bet? Sunday?
Oh, yeah, Sundays. The first game's at 4.
So we got to wait till Sunday.
I'll jump. I'm not going to give the picks, but I'll jump on. They'll tease you. They'll tease you.
That's not fun. We want to get the picks so we know when to go in and bet. I mean,
what if people want to bet because they bet either Chris or Vito every week?
Yeah.
Look, they're going to bet Chris is what's going to happen.
You're not making sense. There won't be any time.
There's no time. We need to know now.
You have to go out of your way to find your man. Okay? Not everybody has a fucking quick one phone call stop the way you do. This guy's going like this. You fuck up this time, Chris. I'm serious. I hate to do it, man. I gotta fucking hurt you.
But you're saying you hate to do it, so why just don't do it?
I gotta make an example out of you. God. You want Chris, you gotta go through me, man. And I fucking play with a razor. Vito, have you even thought about these bets yet?
I've been thinking about it every day this week.
No, he hasn't.
I have, because I want to keep winning.
He is the leader in this.
3-1. I won that college game, and then I went 2-2 the week before. Chris is just terrible at this for somebody who knows.
It's very, very true, Chris. I mean, I'm not going against you. And this isn't the type of thing where you feel like, oh, you won the Super Bowl, so it makes up for anything. Because everyone bets the same way the whole fucking season. If you're a $100 bettor, you're not necessarily going to go, all right, I'm down 700. I'm going to bet 700 this game. Some of these fucking guys that you talk to, Chris, they're nickel and dime. They're just regular guys whose children are now going without shoes.
Oh, my God.
Hey, today, I was watching, they were doing like boots on the Today Show, the latter day Today Show. And they said that these white boots were back inside. And I go like this at my house. Does that come with a baton? And I was happy about it for 2 hours. And I was just hoping it would show up somewhere. I can't imagine women wearing these white...
are they like go-go boots?
They look like Dallas Cowboy cheerleader boots. How's that back?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. There's got to be some functionality to boot. And if you're doing white boot, those are going to get very dirty.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, hopefully you only wear them somewhere where there's a white carpet. I'm on a white carpet tonight, so I'm putting on my white boots. I feel like this. When I watch the SAG Awards, my thing is only men are going to be able to watch with me.
What?
Yeah, because we're not able to be presenters. Hey, that could be a poem I come up with. We're not presenters because of the resenters.
That's good. What do you think the next part's going to be?
Hey, did you see those Jenners? Oh, yeah. Would they let Caitlyn Jenner?
They would, if they wanted to be woke, they would have to, if Caitlyn Jenner.
What if we found out Bruce did something awful years ago? By the way, I doubt that to be true. But would you still hold it against Caitlyn? Because Caitlyn could be like, it's not me, dude. That was Bruce.
That's Bruce. I left Bruce behind years ago.
2 years ago. Hasn't been all that long. Who do you think is going to have the better weekend?
My guess, because I have a certain guess, even though they won't say their picks.
Yeah.
I have a certain guess about who will go what for the game I care most about, the Eagles game. And so therefore, if I believe who I think is going to pick that, I'm going to say that I think and hope that Vito has the better week.
Well, it's because Chris set out to hurt us last week. And my family and friends, they got a long memory. And they were very upset last week.
Yes. I mean, it did really hurt. Because you know how much that game meant to us.
And after the Super Bowl, I want you guys betting nightly basketball games.
Okay, I can kill Chris with that.
Oh, I love it. I love the basketball action.
You really don't know basketball. He picked the Washington Generals 90 games in a row.
They were due.
And he's like, I'm getting 3 points. Why wouldn't they take them?
Give me some.
You're still going back to that?
Yeah, he does.
You gotta have new stuff, dude.
I had new names to myself every weekend.
Then that's no. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's like 2 weeks old.
Why are you next to a pinwheel?
It's just a pinwheel in the backyard I'm in. So
What is it a child live there?
No, it's just a pinwheel in the garden. So I'm just hanging out next to this pinwheel. It's a nice pinwheel. So people are.
Is that your chick's house has a pinwheel?
Yeah. They're like the downstairs. They have the backyard. There's a pinwheel.
You gotta understand what a fucking yard is.
Understand outside and inside. And the
I didn't
differences
fucking grow up
between
in
the two.
Queens, so I definitely understand the yard. But what kind of idiot puts a pinwheel in their yard?
They wanted to make the yard look nice.
How's that? What does anything look nicer with a pinwheel? You ever go through Beverly Hills? Look at all the fucking pinwheels here.
Right.
It's unbelievable. The amount of pinwheels that these people can.
I mean, they're real rich. I mean, you should see the amount of pinwheels.
Very main line with the pinwheel. Well, let's not have her over. She's not the pinwheel.
Brings the whole yard together.
It's a real dollar store pinwheel if you've seen it, too.
Don't you badmouth that pinwheel.
Hey, Andy, what do you got for us, buddy?
Well, I'm just going to remind everybody that Caitlin said here a while back that Bruce had violated her for several years.
It's actually a very good joke. It's a very good joke. Hey, Steve, Brooklyn, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
You guys are talking about how Woody Allen is finished. I don't know about you guys. I learned a long time ago you got to separate the art from the artist, because if we're going to only listen to Me Too approved art or music or movies or
isn't there other stuff? What about cartoons? Newspaper articles, graphic novels, perfect, sandcastles,
street art,
Nickelodeons.
Yeah, I love Miles. I love Miles Davis. I'm not throwing out any of his records because he beat his wife. Sorry,
he beat everybody. Miles beat everybody's wife. A lot of guys beat up their wives. It is true.
And that's their business.
Yeah. Why did you say this? I mean, I don't condone it, but cold meatloaf? It's got to come in hot on a big hot tray. Daddy wants to eat. All right, we got to wrap this up. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to do a radio show and have my two producers not give me their bets on the radio show. And giving that to Instagram. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go directly down the hall.
Oh, God.
And talk with the gentleman who signs the paychecks for these two gay chicks. I don't even know what I'm saying. Do you got something you want to plug?
Well, I want to say Instagram 3:00 Saturday. I'll be giving out my picks at Bennington SXM on Instagram.
That's what he wanted to plug.
And then I
That's
also
what
want
you're
to plug
plugging? Seriously, that isn't when we do the show.
I wouldn't have done that.
Thank you, Vito. Well, Godspeed to you, my friend. Godspeed for thinking about other people's feelings, too, before you make your picks.
Ron will be on the stand tonight.
No shit. Who's going to be with me?
Paul Vierzy.
Love him. He's got a new special coming out.
Marina Franklin.
Love her.
Bonnie McFarlane.
Great. The best.
Giannis Pappas.
Fantastic.
Nikki Glazer.
Newest addition to Sirius XM.
And more.
See what I'm doing? I'm mixing them. I got blacks and whites, men's and women's, okay?
Yeah.
It's a progressive
show.
How I'm able to do it? Simple. I think of every human being before I put together a show.
TheStandNYC.com for tickets.
Oh, by the way, you can go to New York Comedy Club and see 9 straight white guys. Is that what you want? I was listening to your Gail Meets Girls last week, and one of the girls said, the whole point of being a booker is to have everybody represented at the show. And I'm like, it's the first time I've ever heard that. It's trying to get people to work as cheaply as possible. That's it. Filling up a show with people that are funny enough to not charge too much.
Also, Gail Meets Girls airs Saturday at 6 p.m. East on Raw Dog.
No, do we know who we got this week?
Yes, it's the very funny Jessica Kirsten and Carmen Lynch.
Love.
Yes, so much fun with those ladies, and I'm just laughing the whole time.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. Sunday night, I will either be hanging myself or dancing.
Yay!
It's the rope or the dance floor. All right, that's it for us, guys. See you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!